Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Gwen from the Dr. Gwen International Training and Empowerment Academy and host of the iTunes show, The Dr. Gwen Show. Good afternoon. I am glad to be with you today again. It really is a treat for me to have these conversations with you every single day. I feel completely energized and great when I come out to chat with you briefly and to have you interact with me. Now today I think it's going to be a very, very short live cast, and I have something very important that I want to share. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for joining me. I am so incredibly grateful that you are able to spend this small portion of your afternoon with me. Now, I want us to reflect on this whole theme of reflecting on our lives, for you to reflect on your life today. Hello, Veronica. Good to see you. We've got to catch up. So reflecting on your life, like how do you choosing what is right for you? Many times we get completely discombobulated. I love that word. Don't even know if it's a real one, but I know it's one that I've been using for a long time. And we get confused about the choices that we have to make in our life. And there are a couple of reasons why that happens. First, we're not clear about what it is that we are called to do. And how do I know that? Because I spent a significant portion of my life running around from here to there, trying this, trying that, only to discover that that's not what I wanted. And you know, for me, being someone who likes to follow through till the end, that was disconcerting because it would appear as though you're bouncing from one thing to the next. However, and also too, you would be concerned about what other people may be thinking about you while you're doing this. This is none of anybody's business but your own. And if you are not happy with what it is that you are doing, then you owe yourself the responsibility to settle it once and for all. And it doesn't have to be bouncing around. Hey, Jose, thank you for joining. It doesn't have to be bouncing around. You don't have to bounce around from one thing to the next. But if you are allowing your conscious mind to run the show, what you will find yourself doing is bouncing around a lot. And I know that's big what I just said, and you may not get it. See, when I walked away from my full-time job, I went off to start something I thought I would like. And what I did was real estate investing. I did like it. I can't say I didn't. In fact, I loved it. I really liked it. The thing about it is, as I got into doing it more, it became mundane. It became as something that was a little boring. I didn't have to use my mind or intellect to do much of anything. And for me, that may work for someone else, but for me and who I was, that didn't fully define me. Hi. Okay, awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Jose. So it really didn't define me. And so I struggled with that because here I was bouncing between the thoughts of, what do I do? I started this business. It's doing well by all intents and purposes. And all my friends know that I'm doing this. So what am I going to be or look like if it occurs that I am jumping from place to place? I had to deal with that for myself internally. The thing of it is, I wasn't willing to jump off of that bandwagon, though I knew I should. because I wanted something deeper and more fulfilling for me that I felt would touch more lives directly. Hey, Asha lady, how are you? Good to see you. Wow, we've got to catch up. Anyway, I personally wasn't feeling fulfilled about it, right? And I was having some success. And that thought just kept gnawing away at me, and I let it gnaw away at me, and then I had to confront it. The whole empire came crashing down, really. For me, it was sad, but it was also a relief, a great relief for my internal self, because I was feeling a lot of internal struggles inside about where I needed to be and what exactly should I be doing. And what was making it more complicated was my conscious mind reasoning about what other people will think, how am I going to find something else to do, and all of those things that pop into your mind when you feel like you may be backed up against the wall. When deep inside of me, there was something intuitively speaking to my heart. I heard it and I ignored it. So how do you go around to choose what is right for you in your life? There are a couple things you have to contend with. In fact, I'd probably say 3 things. There's that subconscious mind, which is very familiar with what you already know. There's that conscious mind, which is what you have learned, what other people, what's happening right now. Your conscious mind is that reasoning faculty that you engage in the present. And then there is your intuition. I like to think of my intuition as that deep gut sense. Now, some of you may not have your intuition really sharpened, that gut. And that may be because you have practiced to tune it out throughout the years. That was what I was actually doing. I was tuning out that intuition, dismissing it accidentally, I would say, for just a passing thought, when it really was not a passing thought. And I want you to get what I'm saying, because I really want you to cue into yourself after this live cast to see what shows up for you. So my intuition was gently prompting me to move away from real estate investing, and I was resisting it. Hey, Jackie, welcome. And by virtue of resisting it, I ended up in that dilemma, and I put it in quotes because I still think that it was the best thing for me. Now, you may not want to get to that stage where it's all falling apart. So what do you do about it? Well, the first thing is important for you to know is this. If you're not aware, there is a passion test that you can actually take, and I do give that test. I'm not putting a link out here. If you want to do that test, you're going to have to follow up with me, and I will give you a link. But I have spoken on another video of how you can come to grips with your own passions. And I invite you to look up my YouTube channel, The Dr. Gwen, and go there. The Dr. Gwen Show is, I think, what it is. If you go to my website at thedrgwen.com and you scroll down to the bottom, there are a lot of social media icons down there. I believe the YouTube one is there. Click on it and you will find a video where I go into details about if you have more than one passions, how do you sort the one that you feel like you need to do? So I won't do that on this cast because it's a full cast. There are a couple videos that show you that. However, though, this purpose of this particular live cast is to get you to distinguish between what that intuition is and your conscious mind, and that may even help you to get to the point where you can make a decision for yourself, even today, what you want to listen to. So that intuition is that deep knowing. It is that part of you that it's almost like it defies reason. It's something that comes over you, a knowing that comes from somewhere, and you just know deep in your soul that it's right. Now, everybody gets that. And I think that we have been schooled out of it. We have been socialized out of it. We have been taught not to listen to our intuitions. Thank you so much for those love bubbles, my friend. And when you stop listening to your intuition, that is when you begin to get in trouble. That's when you begin to get confused. That's when you begin to be split all over the place, and you're not exactly sure what you need to be doing to your life. So you have to get quiet and still. Now that conscious mind is that piece that reasons it away. So all along when I was doing this real estate investing, that intuition was really telling me what I need to do. And my reasoning mind went ahead and said, okay, oh no, not that. I don't want that. I want to keep doing what I'm doing because, here my conscious mind, I want to not look as though I am jumping from one thing to the next. Can you believe how crazy we are as people? Really? I want to not look a certain way while turning off that internal guide inside of me? How crazy was I? And it is fantastic, I can tell you, not living life from that place anymore. It's completely beautiful. So now what are the opportunities, or what are the things that you are talking about? Here's the purpose of your gut, your intuition. It is to guide you. Let me tell you, when you get those flashes of brilliance, that is not just coming out of nowhere. I want you to trust me on that. Those flashes are divine inspiration. They're divinely inspired. Stop and pay attention to them. Don't allow your conscious mind to take over and start reasoning, because here's where your reasoning comes from. Your conscious mind has its purpose, and I'll tell you in a moment. But the reasoning is based on what you learned, what somebody else told you, what you saw other people go through. And so that's where you're pulling from to come up with your reasoning in regards to staying where you are. And believe me, your subconscious mind is a big part of it, because all of those past experiences that you've gone through, whether they're positive or whether they're negative, they are influencing your thoughts right now. And being aware is important. As I'm saying, you've got to go back and watch that video to see. I went through the whole awareness stuff. I showed you the iceberg principle and all of that. Just go searching on YouTube to find those videos so you can review them. So your intuition gives you that inner guide. What is the function of your conscious mind? When you get those flashes of brilliance and intuition, your conscious mind is that process that helps you to map the strategies to get there. If you are not in tune, however, you're going to miss it. You're going to completely miss it. So some people, I know you've been taught, like if you have a decision to make, and this is how I was taught throughout my life. Jose says, Gwen, you won't believe this. Today I confirmed that what I dreamed around 1 month ago is really materializing. Wow, isn't that beautiful? And I got chills just by you saying that, Jose. Yeah, this is so beautiful. That really has left me completely speechless. See, and this is what I'm talking about. When we learn to tap in there, we get it right. A lot of times while we're floating around and struggling so hard, it's because we're not listening. to that intuition that we get. And Jose continues, and Jackie says, yeah, so true. And Jose says, this is happening because I believed in the clarity of what I saw in my dream. Beautiful. Completely beautiful. And trust your gut. Somehow you are given that internal thing to connect with. And I am so sad and disheartened to know that a lot of us are completely oblivious to it. What we do is we reason it away. See, that thought you just mentioned, Jose, yeah, it's unbelievable. Because see, now, that thought that you mentioned, well, let me go back to the pros and cons first, and then I'll come back to that. So we've been taught when we have a decision to make a list of all the pros and a list of all the cons. And then when the pros outweigh the cons, then we should make a move. Well, I'm telling you, that process is not a terrible process. It's not complete. I declare it is not complete. And I'm going to tell you why. There have been times when I've made my pros and I've made my cons, and I see all the pros outweighing the cons, and my gut tells me that those pros are not right. Uh-oh. Yes, I just lost you here for a minute. So there are times when I see all the pros and all the cons, and yet those pros didn't make me feel as though the thing that I'm about to do is the right thing. And when I ended up going with the pros, it didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. And when I ended up going with my gut, it always works out. Isn't that something? But if you should think about this other thing, the pros and cons, I'm not knocking it entirely, but I'm saying your gut is the final check for you. It is the final check. And Jackie says, amen. And Jose says, even in the midst of the darkest situation, you can go forward if you keep looking at the lighthouse and keep moving forward. Chills! I am getting chills again. Absolutely. See, and this is what I am saying. Your gut, your intuition needs to be the final check when you have laid out all those pros and you've laid out all those cons. And you know what? At times, all the cons may be against you, and it still could be the right move for you. How do you think all of those inventions came about? Do you think they had any pros against them? Those things that were created from literally nothing. All of these great inventors and creators, everything was pointing against them. They didn't have the resources. No one had done it before. Everybody told them that they were foolish. Everybody said, oh no, it won't work. And what did they do? They went with their intuition and they won. And so we today are enjoying a lot of the amenities based on those brave souls who stepped out and followed their intuition. So choosing, how do you choose what is right for you? There's only one way, and that is to tune in to what your internal guide is telling you. That is divinely placed. You are the only person who can do that. And as a matter of fact, that divine internal guide is the place from which you get to discover what your passions really are, so you can live your destiny in this world. See, we all came here for a reason. That's one other thing they don't want us to know. They've schooled that out of us. Put us all in the classroom in straight rows and teach us the subjects and the content they want us to know. Boy, I was guilty. I was one of those teaching. But you get a curriculum that you teach. and you teach the curriculum, right? And certain things are missing from the curriculum, and you don't put that in because it's not something that is recommended. So here we are coming to this phase, and pardon me for that little instability with that video. I'm actually holding on to it because the charge went down rather quickly. And so when you see, just even looking at the feed here that Jose and Jackie are saying, it's completely, you completely know when you are in the right. Because that guide that you have inside of you is not placed there by any accident at all. It is there to support you on your journey so that you can get to where you want to get to. Do you want to make the right choice for your life? Listen, tune into your intuition. Know that when you get those flashes of brilliance, those are quite likely things to bring the freedom in your life that you want. When you keep reasoning in that way, you are reasoning away your freedom. And just know this, that every single one of us who gets those flashes of things in our lives, that later on, maybe a few hours later, you're going to be scared. It's just plain natural because you've never done it before. And your reasoning is going to kick in and say, well, maybe that was not so good of an idea, or maybe there's a challenge around the road. I'm going to have to do this to get that. So, I don't want to do this. Just know that those things are going to come and prepare for them. See, my friends, our purpose here in this world is to make a difference. We all have a destiny. What is yours? How are you going to choose what is right for you? And it doesn't matter whether you hold a full-time job or whether you have a business or whether you have a venture or some other thing. We all have a destiny. And it is your responsibility to find what that destiny is and to start living it. And your passions will more than likely lead you to the direction of your destiny. Thank you for those love bubbles. I actually love them. And so, in parting, I see some other conversation. Jose says, initially learned this from Brendan, and then I had the great luck of listening to the training in January. After that, the Facebook Experts Thought Leaders Group were created, and I met you, Gwen. Yeah, and so it keeps going down, and I don't want to click this button. I've not had any luck with these buttons here on the live cast, Jose, so I'm not going to click that extension because I may disappear. But I see you say our conscience, if we let it, will kill our dreams. Oh, don't we? And so learn to believe in your inner power and make it fast. I completely love it. And I love the fact that you were able to join me today. So in parting, I just want to say this. Do you want to choose what is right for you? If you want to watch out for your reasoning conscious mind, you have to watch out for that subconscious too, because that wants to keep you stuck. More than anything, tune into your intuition, your deeper self, and tune into those flashes of thoughts and ideas that come your way. They are not accidents. And now use your conscious mind to figure out the strategies of how you're going to get from that thought to that being in reality. So your conscious mind has a purpose, and it works in tandem with your intuition to give you the freedom in your life that you so intensely desire. Thank you so much for joining me again today, my friends. And I look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to the movies with some girlfriends. I'm so excited about that. It's been a little while. we're going to go see the movie Birth of a Nation. I've heard a lot about it, so I will be able to tell you a little bit more about that on Monday when I come back. Thanks, Jack, for those love bubbles, Jose. It was great to have you and your comments and insights. And I love you guys. I will see you on Monday at 3.